Say hit it at the beginning, okay? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raymond, say it.
Hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it's not working? Boys and girls, children of all ages, have we got a hot show for you tonight? Live, here we go, live from 2 deluxe apartments across the greater Boston area, courtesy of CCTV and Chen Pa Productions. You last saw them cutting in front of an elderly couple to get that last booster shot at the pharmacy, and they're here for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Anything Goes with Larry and Ray.
That's right.
All right.
Nice. What kind of operation you're running over there in your deluxe apartment?
I had to get my piano keyboardist really, I had to plug him in essentially because...
You had like 6 months of prep for that one song.
Robots. Yeah.
And you didn't want rehearsal. This is what happens. You wanted to be like Larry Lewis, right?
I cut corners wherever I can. You know that.
You cut corners everywhere you can, sure, especially in traffic.
I'm on a fixed income. I have to be careful.
Fixed income, yeah, it's fixed at a very high. I think you're in the top 1%. It's fixed there. It's always fixed that way. But we did get through some nice negotiations finally with CCTV. Sorry to our fans about the holdup, but I think our demands were met, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we asked for everything. They gave us nothing, and we met right in the middle. We got nothing.
Well, not totally. I mean, you got the free parking on Sundays, which is pretty good, right?
Well, I do park in front of my apartment, so I guess that it's convenient.
All right, but it's something. You got to take what you can, and now you got the unlimited Poland Springs water. None of that filtered water anymore. You take what you can.
That's true. So should we start by? Well, first of all, this is the.
Where are we? Yeah.
This is the season finale of season 4.
Season 4, episode 7.
Episode 7. We like to keep them nice and tight, our seasons. We don't want to just drone on, right? We want to really leave on a high note, essentially.
Yeah, it's like The Sopranos. You wait like 6 months or a year between episodes. You give the people, leave them wanting more, or in this case, much less.
Yeah, but in fact, we have not been really on the air for, would you say, approximately somewhere between 6 and 9 months.
Around there, yeah. But we kind of had episodes, but there was issues, right? I mean, what happened with the Firecrackers, for example?
Well, for example, we had a show scheduled March 25th. Now, granted, that is approximately 8 or 9 months ago.
Yeah.
I think 9. With the fire, we had a female barbershop quartet from Coral Gables, Florida, the Firecrackers, a lovely group of septuagenarians, female.
Well, now they're octogenarians, probably.
They sing like songbirds. They were actually going to dedicate a song to me. Perhaps you recall. Perhaps you don't.
Yes. I can't remember the song. Do you remember the song?
It was going to be, the song "Hey Mickey."
Yes.
They were going to do "Hey Larry."
Wow.
You're so fine. You're so fine. You blew my mind. Hey Larry. So they had that worked out in barbershop quartet fashion.
Wow, those little songbirds. Well, hopefully we'll get them on again.
We'll get them on maybe right after the
pandemic.
Spring, the next spring break. I'm sure they'll be free.
Yeah, well, they wanted us to pay for airfare, and we tried to negotiate bus fare. It would take them 3 days to get here. They couldn't bring their instruments on. It was a big mess. So anyway,
that didn't work out.
Then what happened? We had
we did a show February 25th. We had Watchdog Mary make her triumphant return. She did a fantastic show, I have to say.
Great show.
All of these new things we learned about dogs in terms of how basically a dog's life. But it was a great show, and unfortunately there was a technical difficulty, and the show was actually never recorded.
Yeah, it's in cyberspace somewhere.
God knows. We don't want to really point fingers, right? We don't want to point fingers.
Oh, they're probably going to be pointed at us eventually. Yeah. So,
however, so we'll just move along.
Well, I'll just say this: that we were in negotiations, very heated negotiations at the time, and like The Godfather said, like Brando said in The Godfather, I'm not a suspicious man really, or a superstitious man, but if something should happen, like a show should all of a sudden disappear, I'm going to blame a few people, and it could be some people in this very room.
All right.
Anyway.
I think you're pretty close to the truth. We better move on before, you know.
I just hope there's not oranges behind you. Is that an orange I see?
Oranges, that's a bad sign, right? If you
It's
see
a very bad
orange.
sign, The Godfather. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was a good show, but she'll come back on, right? Watchdog Mary?
When we go back to the studio, she has agreed to come on the show live. So we'll do that.
Maybe she'll bring some of her little furry friends.
I hope so.
Not to mention some of the dogs.
Yeah. But the last show that was actually broadcast, believe it or not, was 11 months ago in January. We had Brian Corr, the Peace Commissioner of Cambridge.
Yep.
And he was great. He's always great. We've had him twice, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
We had him. Yeah, he could be, if we have him again, obviously he's going to be a record-setting third-time guest.
Yeah.
You know, we're thinking of creating a giant bed and all sitting in it and singing "Give Peace a Chance" just to keep him motivated. You know.
Well, he is musical. If you recall, he did bring on his kazoo. Oh, no, it was like a xylophone.
No, I think it was a recorder. It was some ancient instrument from Jethro Tull years, you know, from the yesteryear. But it was good, you know. Yeah, it was not much overhead. You just put it out of your pocket. There it is. You know.
Yeah, he did that song. What's that song they play? The closing credits at Drowning Mona. Joy to the World. I think he did.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's pretty good.
So who's our guest tonight? Who do we have for our fabulous audience?
That would just be me.
Oh.
We don't really have a guest. This is an all banter show because, you know, we got to do a little catching up. A lot's been going on, right?
There's a lot to catch up on.
A lot of catching up.
Yeah. Well, and we wanted to kind of like break back in. You know, it's been a long time. We have to kind of get the rust off, right?
A lot of rust.
There's a lot of rust. Yes.
We'll get to American
We
rust.
have a lot to talk about, do we not?
A lot to talk. Sure. You know, we could easily fill up this 27 minutes if we had to.
Yeah.
You know, or we could have 10 minutes of silence, you know, or as I call it, dinner.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's good to eat in a peaceful fashion.
Yeah.
However, shall we talk about what's new with you in your?
Yeah. All right. During this hiatus, I made the big move of leaving my job and kind of the profession, you know.
It's true.
You
did a clean break, right?
Clean break.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was pretty clean.
It wasn't that clean.
Yeah. It was clean. You know, it was good. You know, we decided to move on from the human service experience, but I'm doing something kind of similar now. Working with the youths at a unnamed high school, doing some social emotional learning type stuff, and it's great. You know.
And I understand you wear some type of a RoboCop type of because you are a bit of, I don't want to say an enforcer, but you definitely motivate the youths that are having trouble finding their way. Is that correct?
Maybe an equalizer, you know, or enforcer.
Yeah.
You know, but we're just trying to find a uniform for me. You know, how I'm very.
They didn't have the RoboCop uniform from what you told me.
They didn't. In fact, all they had, I think, was what was the Will Ferrell movie? The green. Oh. Right, the Game and Elf uniform. You know,
that nice tight green. That's not very flattering on you, though, is it?
Well, if the light hits me a certain way, but you know, you walk in the hallways in a giant elf suit, which might be okay a day or two around the holidays, but you know, in the dead of summer, maybe one or two of the 1,800 kids would smirk at me and not take me seriously. But we'll see. Hopefully, we'll negotiate the uniform thing. It'll be fine. But I enjoy it so far. Just started a few days ago, and something different. I tell you, I get a lot of walking in during the day. I think by like today, for example, by noon, true story, 15,000 steps. Who does that?
That's almost unheard of in that particular locale where you are employed.
Well, I accidentally got locked in the bathroom. Actually, I was just pacing back and forth for 4 hours. But the bottom line is, I got the steps in. So it was good. I took a few months off and caught up on things. A lot of sports watching, TV binging. I actually delved into TV series like from the, I guess, late 50s, early 60s on one of those channels.
What were some of the programs that really, you know?
What's the Munsters?
Yes.
Not to be confused with the Addams Family. I love the Munsters. For those of you who don't know about the Munsters, well, too bad, because I want to talk about them for a minute.
Yeah, you do. I understand some fantastic impressions of these particular sitcom heroes. You're not.
Well, not really. Well, we can try one. There was one episode when Again, if you don't know the Munsters dynamic, I won't really do anything. But picture Grandpa Munster and Herman Munster, right, at the breakfast table, sitting down to breakfast. All of a sudden, Grandpa Munster says, "Good morning, Hyman. Hey, what's that wonderful smelling aroma?" And Herman says, "I cut myself shaving." Kind of morbid, but
well, they are kind of vampire-ish, right? They like the smell of blood.
Yeah, they're kind of an ironic family, and Herman.
Well, I guess he's a monster. He's Frankenstein, essentially.
Well, he's a monster, yeah, but people don't. He's very misunderstood, like a lot of monsters are, and monsters
He's
are.
very diligent, though. He's a hard worker.
Well, he's a 7-foot guy painted. He's green, which kind of sets off some red flags, but he does work as a mortician overnight during the graveyard shift, so. He's rarely seen.
In fact, you and he, I believe, carry the very same lunchbox. I do believe.
We do, exactly. We both have bologna sandwiches and Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of the Munsters. Father Knows Best. Remember that? You ever hear of it?
I never really liked that one. I was more of a Leave It to Beaver kind of guy.
Well, I love Leave It to Beaver, but it's really hitting me like when I watch these shows, like Father Knows Best. Did he really know best? I mean, he sends the kid, Bud, the troublemaker, the son, he lets him go out late at night carousing. I believe there was an episode when he was almost initiated into a gang, right? Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile, his daughter, what was the daughter's name? Betty, Wednesday? I think. There's a couple. No, Wednesday's in the Addams Family.
Oh, that's right.
But, and he makes Betty stay home and make cupcakes and go to bed at 7:00. It's not realistic. Or maybe it was back then, but it would not fly today.
No, not at all.
What other things did I see?
Well, I understand you're an action. You like a good kind of, you like the James Bond series. Did you not catch some?
Oh, yeah, they had a James Bond marathon. Yeah. And are you a Connery guy or?
Yeah.
I know there's many other James Bonds.
This is my favorite, absolutely. And then Roger Moore definitely was up there.
Yeah. And I like Daniel Craig. He's been pretty good lately. But anyway, I remember watching, in fact, the very first film I saw, I think my father took me to it. I remember trying to console him during some of the violent scenes. I was like 5. But it was Diamonds Are Forever.
Right.
Remember that one?
Yes, I do. That was a great one. That was was that Roger Moore or Sean Connery?
That was Sean Connery. Yeah.
It was close to the transition, I think.
Yeah, right. Be that as it may. And then I love Sean Connery I'm a Sean Connery guy. And I watched The Untouchables like 2 weeks ago. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Robert De Niro.
De Niro played, he put on 60 pounds for the role.
Oh, those were not prosthetics?
Believe me, they weren't. I heard he had 600 cheesecakes over a 3-day period.
Wow. Much like he did in Raging Bull, yes?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Then he went on to Slim Fast for 2 years afterwards.
So tell me about the Sean Connery character in The Untouchables.
Oh, yeah, he was great. Yeah.
Scenes?
He played a big Irish cop, right?
Yes.
A really tough cop. And I remember there was a scene when, you could be Costner saying something about Capone.
Sure.
Something troubling.
What do you get? So how are you going to talk to Capone? How are we going to get to this guy?
I remember Connery was the character was I'll tell you how to deal with Capone. He pulls out a knife, you pull out a gun. He sends 3 of your men to the morgue, you send 4 of his. That's how you deal with Capone. That's the Chicago way.
That was good, but it was a lot like Herman Munster, I have to tell you.
Well, it's kind of a hybrid. It's hard to jump to these other characters. They're both from Scotland, or Loch Ness in Herman's case. Yeah. But anyway, that doesn't make,
maybe Fred Gwynne and Sean Connery, I think they actually studied together at the Actors Studio.
And Fred Gwynne, as you know, is fantastic in what?
My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny as the judge. Right. And that's where he coined the term Utes.
Right.
The very Utes that I'm working with. See?
What was the Marissa Tomei character's name in My Cousin Vinny?
Oh, Vito, DeLito, something, DeVito.
Almost. Mona Lisa Vito.
I was going to say Lady Marmalade DeVito or something.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So, good show. So, anyway, it kind of gave me a taste of what retirement would be like. And I realized after the first 3 days that I really need some kind of structure. So, it's a little challenging. So, but I'm happy where I am. It's good to get back into the workforce. I walked the beach for a while, contemplated things, and stuck my toe in the water, and the water was cold. Ran back home.
And that was July.
Here I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I know you love impressions. I don't do many, but I have one that I kind of would like to share with you.
Yeah.
In the audience, of course. So, unfortunately, everybody knows Larry King, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, if you want to think about it, is really the forefather of cable TV interviewers. He was it. Everybody really bowed to the throne of Larry King. He was a funny guy. He became quite a celebrity, actually.
Yeah.
And so he did pass away, unfortunately, earlier this year in February. He was 87. He had, how many wives do you think Larry King had?
Between 5 and 9.
Well, you're right. It's in that range. He had 8 wives, 5 kids, an untold number of grandchildren.
God.
So and in fact, I was watching an old clip that during somebody interviewing him.
Yeah.
And on his very first broadcast, he actually froze.
Yeah.
And the station manager had to come in and basically scream to him, "Speak." and then he took off from there. Then the rest was history.
Was that live on the air?
I think live on the air, and then who knows how many thousands of interviews later, because he obviously was working, I think, for many.
I wonder if there's a clip of that very moment.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because remember our producer.
You could call the National Archives.
Yeah, I'm too lazy.
So, anyways, one thing I learned from Larry King after kind of reading up on him a little bit is he does what sometimes we do, often, in fact. Larry never prepared for a show. Did you know that? He basically he never read the book. If somebody was promoting a book, he would just he would cut to the chase and ask these questions. He was known for his curiosity. That's what he says was really his claim to fame. And so he would just, Suzanne Summers, he would interview her quite a bit. She might be talking about Three's Company or whatever she was working on at the time. And he would say things like, "What were you thinking at the time?"
Yeah.
He'd just say, "How? How come? Why?" Right? And then when he was taking in calls, he'd say, "Altoona, you're next."
Yeah.
All right, that's my.
He would never call the caller's name. He'd always say the city or the state or whatever.
The city they're from, right? Well, he doesn't want to, invade their privacy too much or expose who they are.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, we had the opposite problem. Our producer in our first show stormed into the room and said, "You guys shut up." Yeah, we were talking too much. We couldn't let anybody in.
Yes.
And so you watch any of the traditional? I love watching the traditional Christmas movies too, like The Year Without a Santa. But you were saying you were watching Rudolph.
Oh yes. So, well, not so much watching it, but I've been listening to a lot of Christmas songs. How can you get away from them? Well, you can actually. We've got a million channels now on.
Yeah. I mean, this year I kind of liked them. Maybe it's the pandemic. I've been listening to more.
I was really paying attention to the Rudolph the Reindeer song, and especially the line in the song that goes, "All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names.
Yeah.
They never let poor Rudolph play any of their reindeer games." And I got to thinking, those reindeers were a bunch of bullies, right?
Yeah, they kind of were.
They were picking on Rudolph. I think it's very upsetting if you think about it.
Well, you are very sensitive to this.
Correct?
Yeah, I mean, in this age of political correctness, remember a couple of years ago, "Baby, It's Cold Outside." Yes. They changed the words, they banned it, which I don't really know if I agree with. I mean, maybe Dean Martin did slip a Mickey in her drink to keep her there. I don't know, but to me, I mean, if that's the case, okay, that's bad. But bullying, I mean, that's a very, very serious thing. And what happened with the reindeer afterwards?
Well, you get to the end of the song, and sure, Rudolph saves the day, right? Santa grabs him, takes advantage of his red nose. So it is a win-win for Rudolph and Santa. But those reindeer, they do not get what they deserve. Those bullies, I feel, need to be dealt with, and that aggression cannot stand. Are you in agreement with me?
Yes, that's a great quote from.
So how do we deal with these bullies? Rudolph, I feel, had to really take matters into his own hands. So Rudolph really needs to hire the equalizer.
Equalizer. I thought you were going to say RoboCop.
And the equalizer.
You reminded me of what's the show? Rob Reiner played DiCaprio's father, and he the Rob Reiner character, Mad Max, it was in Wolf of Wall Street. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And Mad Max.
I'm not sure.
Mad Max. I'm trying to explain it to our viewers, but he had this explosive temper. He would just go off. But the weirdest thing was whenever he was on the phone, he would develop this weird, like, British accent. Like they showed this scene where Mad Max was at home with his wife on Tuesday night. This is in the 70s, right?
Right.
Before you could tape things and stuff, before you could do DVR. He's watching The Equalizer, trying to enjoy it. And all of a sudden the phone rings, right? Ring, ring.
Yes.
And you start screaming, who the F's calling me on a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock? I'm wait the whole week to watch the damn Equalizer. I can't believe this. Then he picks up the phone. Hello? Yes. Yes, Gene. Righto. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Gene. Click. God, why is he calling me tonight? I can't believe this. And he goes to his wife. What happened? What did I miss? And she goes, well, the guy's sister did it. What guy are you talking about? And he totally goes off, much like you do when you're in a mood,
Yeah. Well, and if you haven't seen that scene, whoever's watching,
hilarious. Google it. It can do it with more justice.
Really,
yeah.
By the way,
Rob Reiner.
That movie has the third most F-bombs of all movies of all time. Over 5.
What about our other favorite, The Big Lebowski? How many F-bombs?
That's in the top 5 or 6.
Has to be, right?
About half is about 250 times in
Big
Lebowski, but over 500 times in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, you come pretty close yourself sometimes during the show prep, but
Yeah, that's during show prep, sure.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So too many movies and so I mean, I'm happy to get back into a rhythm, and hopefully the holidays will go well. I'm off next week. What about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely. Well, I'm always off.
You're always off. Well, you keep busy.
I'm in what I like to call semi-retirement.
Yeah,
I'm working a couple of hours a day.
I know.
And quite frankly, I take the day to myself.
Yeah, you really should. After 10 o'clock, the day's your own.
I take the day as it comes.
Yeah.
I have lunch, take a nap, take out my dog for a nice walk.
Yep.
My dog, by the way, Chin, during the pandemic, she's actually put on some weight, and probably my fault. I've been letting her snack on Doritos. So,
Doritos?
So I have a new nickname for her. I now call her Toady Fields.
Toady Fields. Yeah, I wonder how many of our viewers will get that reference.
And I call her friend Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah.
They've been snacking a little bit too much during this pandemic.
Wow. Yeah. But I was thinking about that though. They call it the COVID-15. Like, what if you're a freshman in college, right?
Right.
And you're going through COVID.
Yeah.
Even if it was, even if the classes were via Zoom. So you put on the COVID-15, right? And you put on the freshman 15. Is that possible? You gain 30 pounds?
By the way, I think it's the COVID-19.
No, it's called COVID-19, but I think people put on 15 pounds.
But they call it the COVID-19 for it's close enough to 15. And
all right, well, my point is that's a lot of, that's very challenging for a freshman to do that,
Oh yeah.
So during our season finale, we always briefly talk about the films or streaming that we really enjoyed and want to recommend to the audience. I know we only have like 3 minutes left.
Oh wow.
Maybe 3.5.
Yeah.
Let's shoot some stuff out there. Like you and I like some of the same things. There's some hidden gems in there too.
Yeah. Why don't you start?
Okay, I really enjoyed this film. I saw it recently on Netflix, but it came out, I think, like in 2014. Mm-hmm. It's called Queen. It's not about the band Queen. It takes place in India. An Indian woman who gets engaged. It's leading up to her wedding. All of a sudden, like I think 2 days before, the fiance just dumps her. Says, I can't do this. Throws her into turmoil. And I won't give away a lot, but she goes on a venture, a sort of this self-redeeming, life-affirming type venture. She actually goes on the honeymoon without him. And then what happens is great. It's a beautiful story. And the other hidden gem.
Or is it like present day?
What's that?
Is it a period piece or present day?
No, it's present day India. Well, present day 2014 or something.
Okay.
Very big in Indian tradition, subtitled, but the subtitles are nice. They're big and you can watch them. You could be doing the dishes, looking at the subtitles across the room. So, and my other hidden gem before I get to you is you and I watched it together, Language Lessons.
That was fantastic.
Fantastic, right?
Yeah.
Remember,
one of our favorite actors is one of the basically co-stars of the show and co-writer, co-director, actually.
Yep. Yeah, Mark Duplass.
I think the female lead, Natalie, is that her name, Natalie Morales?
Natalie Morales. Spectacular.
Natalie Morales. She wrote it.
Where's she been?
With Mark Duplass.
Great combination.
And also, she directed it.
Yeah, one of the best films of the year. It's very unique. You got to really stay with it. Because remember, at the start, you're like, I might not get through this.
Won me over big time.
Won you over. Am I right or am I right?
You're right. You're always, well, I don't want to say you're always right, but yeah, you're right in this case.
All right, what do you got? What have you been watching?
I'm gonna jump on the Mark Duplass bandwagon. So Apple TV, I've been watching Apple TV.
They're not a sponsor.
And although I love Ted Lasso, hands down my favorite, but also The Morning Show, very good. And he's in that. And to me, he's one of the best characters in it, largely because I really think he's just a great actor and a great writer and very unique. But it actually has I think it's great. But Ted Lasso, to me, was really the big standout this year. I'm trying to think what else we saw this year.
You introduced me to Ted Lasso because I don't have Apple TV. You do. And, I remember we were watching.
By the way, Raymond, it's 5:56. So
I know we got another. I get 5:55 on my computer, but you're in Brookline, so there's a 30-second time difference, I think.
Okay.
So I'll just say one funny story. We were watching Ted Lasso together. All of a sudden, bang! The TV goes dark.
That's a good story. I hope you can squeeze it.
And it turns out your wife, who was in New York at the time, switched your password mid-show without telling you.
Yeah.
It created a little bit of a dissension for a bit, and then we got it back together.
Didn't know what was going on, and then of course, I think I thought to call her, "Did you change the password?"
Could have happened.
I did that.
All right, we got to wrap up. We love you guys. We're glad we're back. We'll probably see you maybe in 2 weeks again. Tell your friends and have a great and happy holiday season. Any other parting words, T-Bone?
I can't say have fun storming the castle anymore.
Not after January 6th.
So I'll just say, stay healthy, stay safe. And we will see you soon.
All right. Please enjoy the song, The Sounds of Silence.
All righty then. Maybe we should outro with a little more Disco Inferno.
Hit it.
Can you hear that?
As much as I'd like to.
All right.